Welcome to the Working Moms of San Antonio podcast. We're your hosts, Erika, Radis, and Marie Lifschultz, a realtor and lender here in San Antonio, but most importantly, we're working moms just like you.
This podcast is all about creating a space where we can come together, share stories, and learn from each other. We love connecting with local moms in business, hearing about their journeys, and how they're balancing it all. Because let's be honest, it's not always easy, but it's so worth it.
Before we dive into today's episode, we're excited to share some big news with you all.
Our business community and co-working memberships are officially open. Whether you're looking for a supportive community of moms in business or need a beautiful space to work and grow, we've got just what you need here at Working Moms of San Antonio. You can visit the link in our show notes or workingmomsofsanantonio.com/membership for more info.
Now, on to today's episode. Grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's get started.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Working Moms of San Antonio podcast. Today we are here with not one, not two, but 5 professional organizers who practice a very specific process of organizing. And so we're going to get into all of that today, but I'm just going to turn it over to these gals to kind of individually introduce themselves and their businesses.
Good afternoon. My name is Hitomi Kinoshita, and I'm the Platinum KonMari consultant in San Antonio. And I've been working for this method for since 2017 with a passion for clothing and closet styling. That's what I do, and with 20 years as a fashion ambassador for an Italian couture brand in New York City. Now I bring that same luxury touch into home closets. After the client identified what truly sparks joy, we treating the items with care and gratitude, then styling them like a boutique spaces.
My name is Amelie Saint-Jacques. My business is Amelie Organizes LLC. I became a professional organizer in 2019, but I became certified in the KonMari Method in 2021. And I find that it really helps my clients achieve a whole other level of decluttering because it helps change their mindset.
Amazing.
I love that, yeah.
Hi, my name is Ami Teodosio, and my business name is just my name, Ami Teodosio. I got certified in the KonMari Method January 2024, so I've only been doing this for 1 year, and I love guiding clients through choosing what sparks joy and letting go of that which does not serve them.
Hi, I'm Angie Moreno. I own Clean G Professional Cleaning and Services. I've owned that for 8 years. And I thought, what better way to serve our clients is to add the organizing. So I am a professional organizer and declutter coach, as are my colleagues here. So that's what makes us different from any other professional organizer is we are a declutter coach as well. I have always loved serving people, from serving food to the homeless, to cleaning their homes, to now organizing. I just love to organize.
Me too. I just wish I was good at it.
I'm glad someone does.
I know.
That makes me the last person. Hi, my name is Lupe Villareal. I became a certified KonMari consultant last year, and I could have not done it with the support of this amazing team. We came together as a group, collaborating rather than competing with each other. So that's really amazing. And I'm passionate about helping professionals how to have joy at work, because having an organized place, according to research, makes you more productive and happier at your workplace, whether it's in an office, or at your home office, or at a cubicle. So I'm happy to share anything that can help any professionals in their workplace. Thank you.
Love it.
Yes, thank you all so much for being on.
It's perfect for our community. What Luby just said about coming together and not competing, but helping each other and supporting each other. That's exactly what Working Moms of San Antonio does. We have lots of people in different industries that come together and support each other because there's enough business out there for everyone. So that's amazing. We're excited to hear about you guys.
Yes. So I'm curious. We have had organizers on our podcast before. There are, I think, people obviously in any industry that do things a number of different ways, and organizing, I'm sure, is no exception. And so, can you gals share with us a little bit about what makes this particular method different than other methods that other organizers may or may not be using?
I think that the main difference is that there are a lot of organizers, let's call them non-KonMari organizers, who will organize by putting things in boxes and bins, and they will tell you what organizing supplies you need to buy. KonMari is a little different because we're more about figuring out what items you have that you should keep, which ones you should let go of. And most of the time with my clients, we just reuse organizing supplies that they already have lying around. We very rarely go out and buy product. I mean, if they want them, yes, we can recommend products, but most of the time it's about the final result is about the decluttering and simplifying of their life and helping them achieve their ideal lifestyle, much more so than buying things to make things look pretty.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that probably makes it maybe more cost effective as well. I mean, what we see right now, and we talk about it all the time on the Instagrams, is these like beautiful homes that have like these beautiful, perfect, like,
Right, like the home edit.
containers. Yes. And I'm like, well, my house doesn't
And
look
I
like
have a
that.
love-hate relationship with home edit. I mean,
Yes.
love because obviously it's so beautiful, right? But at the same time, no one I know lives like that.
Right.
It's
I
Yes.
know beautiful backstock, all color coded. No one has 27 different bell peppers in their fridge, right? They have leftovers. So
Right.
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
organizing for the way people live, not Pinterest.
Yeah.
Yes, that makes sense.
Well, I think as Americans, I just realized, I mean, on my Instagrams as well, that we just have too much stuff.
Yeah.
We as Americans love stuff. I love stuff. And we don't know how to get rid of the stuff when we don't need it. It's very painful for me to like, but I might use that sweater in 2 years. Like,
Yeah.
I might need that one. Or we buy something for one specific event and we never use it again. I'm known for
Another
that.
thing that, if I may, another thing that makes this method very unique is that the focus is not on what you want to let go. The focus is in what you want to keep. And another uniqueness of this process is that we coach you and we help you and we guide you through the process of letting go of the things that you're holding on to for the wrong reasons, like the just in case. It's one of the reasons, but it's been 2 years. And why, keeping it for another 2 years to see if you use it or not? Why not just looking at the past 2 years? Do you use it or not? And then we also help you deal with the guilt of letting go of things that are valuable, or that you're keeping only for being guilty that someone special in your life gave it to you. And like Mary Kondo says, from the moment you got that birthday card and you open it and it made you happy at the moment, it already served its purpose.
Oh, that's
So,
such a good point.
Yeah, I heard that. I have a whole box full of birthday cards and stuff.
My dad too. My
Like a
dad, he
box.
saves every birthday card, and I am the kind of person where I will hoard stuff and then throw it away because I get overwhelmed. So then I'll throw the whole box away. And he's like, "Remember that card that I got?" And kind of makes me feel bad about not not keeping that card. And it's like, nope, I got rid of that, pal.
But I have never thought of it that way, Lupe. Where it gave you joy for that moment, and it served its purpose. It did what it was supposed to do.
absolutely. I did go through my cards, and you want to keep the ones that spark joy, like the ones from parents, kids, grandparents. But then you have cards that you don't even remember who they came from.
Yeah.
And how can something like that can spark joy? But that's actually the last category. That's the sentimental category. I feel like I'm going ahead of ahead of everything. That's like the last category because it's the most difficult category, and I might let one of my colleagues here talk about the category so you can get the whole picture.
Yes, we would love that.
Yeah, I can't wait to. Let's hear categories.
Yeah, so I think one thing that separates the KonMari method from traditional organizing is that we don't necessarily organize by room, like I need my pantry organized. We can do that, but what we do is we organize by category. So starting with clothing, and what we do is we get clothing from all over the home, all the closets, even in your laundry room, put them in a big pile, and then from there, choose what sparks joy. So it's by category. So the categories are clothing, books, paper, miscellaneous, which is like everything else, everything in the kitchen sink. And then lastly is sentimental.
Got it. I feel like there should be more categories. I have tools, toys, but I get
Yeah, that's all in miscellaneous. So when you get to miscellaneous, then you isolate all my tools, all my toys, all my hobby supplies, all my luggage. And what organizing in general is putting like with like. And so when you organize by category, you are putting like with like. And that's why the method works so well.
Well, Ami, when you come to my house and see it, well, you'll be there for a couple of weeks, just helping with all those categories.
It does. It actually can take so tidy festivals can take anywhere from 3 months to 6 months is probably the general.
What did you say? Tidy festivals?
Yeah.
Yes, tidy festivals.
You have to
Let me
expand on
pass
that,
it on
ma'am.
to someone
Expand
else
on
to
that.
explain. Yeah, let me pass it on to someone else who wants to explain what a tidy festival is.
It sounds fun.
I can
Yeah.
jump in. So this is something you respect the things, what we do, and we are giving them with gratitude each one of the items what you own, and for the respect, through the respect, this is a Japanese philosophy, to be appreciated and with respect. And then this is a festival really between the things and you. So that's why we call the Tidings Festival.
Oh, it's
Giving respect to the items that you have.
Yes.
How interesting.
Can you
Yeah.
dive a little bit more into that, like explaining? I'm trying to wrap my head around it a little bit.
Yeah.
When you thank the item that you're letting go for the purpose that it served while you had it and the happiness that it provided, and you thank the item, it feels better by letting it go. By thanking the item, you're showing appreciation and you're letting it go with peace, not regretting. Now that item, whether it's a piece of clothing or a decoration or a piece of jewelry, is gonna go and make somebody else happy.
Okay,
Whether you gift it or sell it or donate it.
got it.
And it also
Is that go ahead, Amelia, because
it also helps people let go of their items without guilt. Because guilt is one of the big reasons why people tend to hold on to it. They would feel guilty if they were to let it go,
Mhm.
but much of the time they don't feel well keeping it either. And so by focusing on what the item brought to your life, what it taught you, or how it has served you, you can be thankful for having had the item and learning that lesson, and then you pass it on to someone else.
I think the generation before us, my parents and my grandparents had a lot of things, and when they start to get older and want to give us things, I'm like, I don't want any of that. I don't need china. I don't need the little figurines that were like big collectibles, 40 years ago or whatever the case was. But my parents kept trying to give me things. I'm like, I don't want those things, but I felt guilty not taking them. So I always told myself and my children, just say thank you and take it. Like, just because I felt bad not taking it for some reason.
So how we're different also is, are we listening to other people's voices or ours?
Okay.
So if you're listening to somebody else's voice, like, I really like I have a client who has several things that her sister gives to her. And in confidence, she feels that, this is tacky or this is not my style. Then she's listening to her sister's voice instead of her voice.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I say I probably
I
do
feel
that.
like I'm always doing that.
I listen to everybody but myself.
Yeah.
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 So then the Tidy Festival, we have to do our own Tidy Festival in order to become certified. And Tidy Festival, meaning our whole home. And I'm so glad that that was a prerequisite to becoming certified, is because now I understand. When I started with the clothing, I thought, this can't be too hard, right? So I gathered all my clothing and I put it in one spot. I had trouble picking up that first piece of item. I'm not kidding you. I went to pick it up and it took me 3 tries to pick it up. And I finally picked it up. And once I started, I was like, oh, it's getting easier and easier. So we start with clothing because that's the easiest to kind of let go or, say thank you. And then books, that's kind of another easy category. So you hone your skills as you go. And finally, at the end, I sat down and I looked around and I said, man, all the stress, not all the stress, that's wrong. A lot of stress was lifted from my shoulders because I was holding on to other people's voices or just because. And it was amazing. And a lot of times we get confused with the minimal,
List.
Prism.
minimalist, and that's not what we're about. We're about keeping joyful what sparks joy. Ding. As
What sparks
Maria-
joy?
yeah,
That's the key word. What sparks joy?
what sparks joy.
Got it.
Absolutely. Marie, I think, is it Marie? You're on my
Yes,
left?
ma'am.
Is that you? You mentioned something about our parents, grandparents. I've heard somewhere that after the Great Depression in the 1930s, I believe, it was people kept things for just in case, for because we're not insecurity, like uh, the being poor and not having much, so people kept things as much as they could.
Yes.
And that's why, one of the reasons why, I don't know for a fact, but one of the reasons why the older generations have a lot of stuff that now, the younger generations going through the grandparents things or relatives that passed. It's a lot. You'll see it in state sales when you go, and even though it's a lot of fun to go to these things, sometimes it makes me sad because someone kept this, someone collected this. And talking about your lifestyle, we begin, what is your perfect lifestyle that you want for yourself. And for me, it'll be that if I was to die tomorrow and my children need to come and go through my stuff, they only see the things that everything that I have makes sense. Like,
Yes.
oh, she needed clothes, there's clothes. She needed these dishes, that's all she has. I don't want my kids to come and find boxes after boxes and bags full of stuff that doesn't make any sense. Like, why did my mom keep this? You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
yeah. So you create your lifestyle in your head before you start the process too. What do you want your daily life to look like in around you in with your stuff?
Well, I think economic status also causes people to save things. Like we didn't throw foil away growing up, or we saved oil, like certain things that we could reuse. And as I grew up and was able to buy things, it was easier for me to throw things away and just buy new if I needed something, not keep it, but I would hear not my own voice, but my parents' voice, right? Saying, why did you do that? You don't have to buy new. You can still use this. But I didn't need it for a year, so there's no reason to keep it. Does that make sense? So I think it's just generational we're trying to get away with. But I think my parents had just a lot of stuff, and I've gone through the process of them passing and going through their things. And I was like, why did she have this? Why do we have 3 irons? I don't understand why we have 3 irons, but they did, you know. So, but it would that is something that goes through my head, Lupe, as well. That if I was to pass, I wouldn't want my boys to have to go through stuff that didn't make any sense. That makes a lot, you know.
Absolutely. And you know, an iron does not spark me joy personally because I'm
Yeah.
not the best at ironing. That's work. I rather do laundry and fold clothes. That I like. Ironing, you know, it's maybe like an item that may not spark joy, but same like the tools. It's an item that gosh, what's the word that I'm looking for, ladies? Help me out. It's something that is practical or
The use of it,
that,
being wrinkle free might spark joy. And then you keep the iron for that.
Okay. I do like ironing though. I actually do like ironing. It brings me back. My dad had uniforms when I was growing up in military, and then for where he worked, and we would get paid 25 cents if we ironed his shirts and his pants and had the crease, and so I made money doing it growing up. So it became it sparked joy for me. But I don't need 3 of them.
Right.
you know, back in the day, they had a few of them because they will, while one iron was heating up in the stove, they were using the
Yes.
other one. But that's another topic. Hito, go ahead.
Yeah.
So beginning of this KonMari method, most important thing is first is you have to imagine your ideal lifestyle.
Okay.
So we all do that to ask clients to close their eyes, to think of, imagine after you finish all this organization, KonMari method, and then what do you see in the other side of it?
Mhm.
And we encourage our clients to have maybe the picture or writing down what is the specific. Maybe it's I would like to invite my friend for dinner, or family gathering, or so like Lupe also mentioned that it's almost like a visualize. Detail is the better. More details is great. To have all those things, and this is your goal to get there. Everybody is different speed, but that is most important. Then you jump into that process of,
Yeah.
and that will really help to get there, because let's face it, it's not easy. Sometimes easy for some clients, sometimes very difficult, and so you like other business as well, right? Because if you have a goal, you can strike to goal, trying to reach the goal
Yes.
and the dreams. So that's most important to begin with. Start, and we pray before the session.
Oh,
We
okay.
We say introduce yourself in a silent. Um, say hello to the house and the space,
Mhm.
and sometimes client to join. Most of the time, right, girls? It's most of the time clients will join us to be in the quiet and to pray. Amy likes to do that, and that's beautiful. To set the tone, to be so we can all focus at the same time and the same place and the same mindset. Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. So it's almost like a grounding process to begin. Um,
Absolutely.
so that's how you start with that, and then the visualization part, and then can you ladies share kind of how the next steps go when you meet with a client, how does it go?
I'll take this. So, like Ami said, we start with the clothing. We have them bring all the clothing from all over the home. Now, one thing to mention is that we only work with the client, not the client's spouse's stuff. So it's only whatever belongs to the client.
Oh,
If the spouse wants to join in, we will allow the spouse to join in separately. And it's typically the eyes start glazing over about 3 hours. So we have the client bring all their clothes into one space, and that space is usually the bed.
Yeah.
So you have to finish it before you can go to bed that night. So we go through, they pick up each piece, and if it sparks joy, they know immediately it sparks joy. And if not, then they thank it and donate it or pass it on to somebody who will love it. So we go through the wearable things first, and then we help them either put it back in the closet or they put it away. So then we move on to the next category, kind of do the same thing, put all the books in one spot, and then go through the books the same way. Does it spark joy? If not, donate it. Then papers, and then the miscellaneous, which is everything else. So that's what takes a long time. So when you get to community property, like the kitchen, if you have 2 cooks in the home, then we go to just what our client uses, and then if they share the crock pot or whatever, they both have to be involved, not one or the other. So you can't have, like I'll use a doodad in my kitchen, but my husband won't use it. So if he comes along and says, "Man, I don't need that," then we're gonna get in trouble because she wanted that.
There won't be joy there.
yeah.
There won't be joy there. And then that takes a while because it's everything else in the home. And then the sentimental. So if, for instance, putting myself out there, I lost my grandmother many, many years ago. Well, by the time I got her stuff, it was very limited what I was offered. And I decided to keep she was very petite, and keep her little robe. And it was a pink robe that she always wore. And I could just see her walking around in it. Well, I kept it hanging in my closet for, gosh, 30 years. Well, that's clothing. So, but that is sentimental. So I put it off to the side for the last category when I did the sentimental. So it may fall into one of the other categories, but
Yeah.
it really belongs in sentimental. So we finished sentimental. Now you've done your tidy festival. Then that's when we start organizing and reusing, repurposing. I like to use like Apple phone boxes. They've got a top and a bottom. So we've got 2 pieces there that we can use as trays, tucked in a drawer. Nobody's going to know they're Apple boxes but you. So we use those. We purpose things. So
Yeah.
I can maybe pass it on to somebody else to explain about the right angles versus round things and anything
Oh,
else.
yeah.
Well,
I wanna know about all
Angie-
that.
But Angie took my joy away because I can't go through Roger's stuff and get rid of it.
That's right. You can't take somebody else's stuff and throw it away, Marie.
Darn it, it doesn't work.
You can't do that.
But when he sees you doing your stuff and how happy you are and how organized and how much more time you have to enjoy the things that matter, you might, motivate somebody else in the home to do the same.
Yeah, you don't know Roger.
We don't know Roger. You're gonna have to come meet him and convince him.
He likes his tools.
In our relationship, I have to say he was very close to his grandfather, and things do have a very sentimental. A lot of his things do, and he keeps it because I did this thing with my grandfather, so I have this thing. So that has been a challenge in our relationship for 20 years. I'm like, do we really need 3 of them? I know Grandpa touched all of them, but do you really need 3? Okay, so I've given in a little bit there, where I don't have a sentimental attachment to a lot of things, and he gets very frustrated with me. I'm like, oh, just throw it. We're good. Just throw that away. We don't need that.
You know what? Another thing is maybe if he has a man cave or garage, you can decorate with some of those things, and that way he can still um, enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a good way of repurposing stuff.
Yeah.
Excellent.
With my experience helping clients, I see a trend. They keep their sentimental items in the garage, in a box, in the attic, in a closet, and I believe in my heart that sentimental items should be in a special split place in your home, where you can see them or
Yeah.
enjoy them.
I agree. I like that.
Do you have any other questions?
Oh, I have lots. But
Yeah, Angie mentioned angles and round things and different things, and now I can't stop thinking about it. So what does that mean? Anyone?
Ami? I nominate Ami.
I'll be really honest, I have no idea what she's talking about.
No.
That
Oh my
works.
gosh, that sounds so
Hi.
interesting.
No, when she said that, I was like, what are you saying? I don't know.
He's talking about this because when you fold things, right? You fold in a certain way and put in the drawers. No, it's not, Angie?
So, no, what I'm speaking of, thank you though, both of you, thank you. No, what I'm speaking of is, most of our shelves are 90-degree angles.
Correct.
So
Yes.
instead of using round containers, you utilize more space by using the 90-degree angles. So, the
The
rectangle.
Tetris method.
Yeah. The what?
Tetris.
Yes.
Tetris. The game.
Ah,
I'm a
my
big Tetris
favorite.
person. I love organization. I just wish I had a family that did too. Tetris. So yes, I understand what you're saying. Like have something that fits into a space so I cannot stand wasted space.
Yeah.
It drives me absolutely bananas. I liked having space. I have rooms in my home that I'm like, I need to utilize it for something. It can't just be there. Like we have to use it. So if not, then it's wasted space in my head. So yes, so having a round thing in a corner doesn't make sense because then you're not utilizing the whole space. Oh,
Exactly.
Angie, we're like this. We're good.
Yes, I'm still Tetris. Love Tetris.
Yes, it's a very Tetris method. Yep, I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So yes, but to Hito's point, yes, we do fold in a certain way so that it's like file folders, so you can see your items. But yes,
I remember reading something or hearing something. It was during when COVID first hit. Is when this method I heard about it. Maybe it was a show. I can't remember how I kind of started to listen about it, and it talked about having items. Like I have a hard time when I have very deep shelving, and we put items in the back. I forget that I had them. For example, I would save for my children. For example, if I was saving clothing because I was because they 6 to 8 months or 6 to 9 months or whatever it was, and my other son could use them, I would forget I had them because I would put them in a container that I couldn't see, or I had them in the back of the closet. So what I read is make sure that it's visible. File folders. Make sure things are visible, and the way you fold things as well is where it's kind of like a filing, so you can see the things versus on top of stuff because you can't see underneath. Is that correct?
Once you do that and you get used to it, you cannot go back to retail store type of piling things one on top of the other.
Yes, yes.
And wouldn't it be nice if stores did that? That way, if you need the medium size, you just go and pull it, and you don't have to mess up
All
their
the,
whole pile.
That would.
I always feel bad when I do that because all the bigger sizes are on the bottom. I have to pull it on. it
You
falls
should
down.
feel bad. I have been that person that has to put it back together, and it's not fun.
When I started doing that with my clothes in my dresser drawers,
Okay.
that was a game changer because then I could open the drawer, yes, and you see everything that you own. And once I do that with my clients too, it often makes them realize, like, oh, I have a lot more of that color than I thought. Or like, oh, I have all these shirts that I forgot I owned. But once you see everything, it makes your life so much easier. Like I would never go back now to piling instead of vertical folding.
I wish they made dressers. I have very deep drawers, so like yeah, it's useless. Erica, you have a lot of black. I don't even have you don't have to fold your stuff.
No, everything is black. It's very gloomy. It's very depressing, but it makes me feel skinny, so I'm going to wear it every day.
But yeah, so like I bought a dresser. I'm like, this is the worthless because I have these very deep drawers, and I've tried. I love folding videos on my Instagram. So we have a very good friend of ours who owns a wash and fold laundry service, and I love her videos because she folds them very pretty. And I've tried it, but it doesn't work in my dresser because either the drawers are really skinny or really, really, really deep. So I have a hard time with that. But
If your drawers don't open all the way and you can't really see to the back, I would suggest going with seasonal items in the front. And then as the season changes, you just switch them.
rotate them. Yeah.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and consider the container or the space that it's going to live. You fold it either like this or like this, fold it down if it's narrow, fold it like this if it's taller. So consider the depth.
Okay. Got it. Well, I think for when I had children, it was very difficult to keep up with baby clothes. That was a hard thing when I became a mom. Like, why is there so much? We had so much of it, and a lot of people will donate stuff to you, and you take them because you needed them. I had a hard time, so I ended up hanging everything, and then my closets were compact because I didn't know how to fold it properly. So I would have a lot of things, but at least I thought in my head I could at least see it all. I knew what I had, and I could arrange it by size because babies grow very quickly. So I ended up doing that for the longest time because I wanted to be able to see stuff. So the only thing that got folded were very minimal things, just because. And then so I have wasted space in my dressers because the drawers were empty.
Yeah.
But you did it in a way that worked for you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's also, I feel like that's a big component of the KonMari method is we're not trying to tell you the one way to do it. We're trying to figure out, okay, what works for you with your lifestyle, and we'll help you figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm curious, ladies, what drew you to the KonMari style? Like what other I know there's other methods and stuff like that. I mean, I know very little about it, and like I said, I kind of heard it through COVID, through a show or a book or something I was reading, and I found it fascinating. But what kind of drew you to it?
I've always had the desire, like I love all things home, and I've always had the desire to have like a home that I loved. And I was told that don't worry about like things matching, but just get what you love and it will all work out. And it wasn't until I found the KonMari method that I actually had a system to be able to systematically go category by category, choosing everything I loved and having a way to discard the rest. And so now I kind of knew, like, kind of a roadmap of going through every single piece of clothing, every single book, every single sheet of paper, and going through that whole thing and being able to just choose what I loved. And now I know for sure that everything in my house, literally, I've touched it and I know that that's what I loved. So I think that's what drew me to the method most. It was like this system that was like, oh, this makes so much sense to me.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I got into it because I thought this is more methodical than just placing items, like Amelie said, placing items into a bin and tucking them away on a shelf.
Yeah.
And so this is another client.
See it. Yep.
Yeah.
We emptied those just by decluttering. So she had additional bins left over. So in our method, we will actually clear up space and clear up drawers. In fact, I still have a dresser sitting in there with 2.5 drawers that are empty.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what is that like? What
This
is it
is
like?
why we don't recommend you to go and purchase, storing containers before your tidying festival, because we know that you're gonna end up with a lot of empty spaces to store and no need to go and buy anything,
Yeah.
anything more. So, uh, because I started my statement by saying that we are a team, we actually help a client as a team. I think it was three of us, and the household ended up with a whole one side of the closet empty for the partner to store their things. So yeah, no need to
That's
go and spend
great.
money. Yeah.
Cost efficient too.
Yeah. I like to save a buck just as much as the next gal.
Exactly. Yes, and I'm frugal.
Yeah.
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 I'm
think that
cheap.
yeah, I probably am both. But I think one thing that's interesting about going through the method is that when you actually go to stores, when you go to Target or Walmart, and I've gone to like a home design store with Angie, and when you look at stuff, you're like, I actually don't want to bring this in, because like the process of decluttering takes so long, or takes a lot of things. And so your joy meter, that like intuition in you, is just so strong. Even my kids, when they're offered like free stuff, they're like, yeah, take this book. They're like, no, thank you. So that joy meter is just really like tuned in to change your consumption habits, and it's just pretty mind-blowing to see.
Mm,
That's
mm.
amazing. I just can't believe that. Like, I mean, so you're already thinking so many steps ahead, because you know that at some point, if you accept this item that you maybe don't love, you're going to have to let it sit there, and it's going to bother you that it's there. And then you're going to have to, thank it for its journey. And then you're going to have to do all these things, and it's going to be a whole deal. And so you may as well just not even bring it home, because why go through all that if you don't love it?
Exactly. And you feel it in your body. I feel like the KonMari method is very, like, I don't know if the word is visceral, but like you feel everything. The joy, you're supposed to feel this rise of joy. And then if it's not quite, I always pay attention, and I told the clients to pay attention to their body. Like my lip kind of does this up thing, and my nose kind of scrunches. And so each of them have their own like little like, I don't like that. And that's what we as consultants also pay attention to, and tell our clients, like, listen to this, or feel your body and how your body reacts to this item.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that makes
I,
sense.
I do want to add to what Amy said, that we don't do it for you. We can come to a house to coach you and guide you through the process. We don't do the decluttering for you. It is your journey and it's your decision. I like to help, putting things in bags, because you're going to end up with bags and boxes of things that you don't want to keep anymore. But it is your journey, and you make a decision of what you
Yeah.
keep. We can coach you on how to process. Um, how to process the process. But yeah, that's another thing that a lot of professional organizers will do it for you, and you just come back to your home and it's done like a magic thing. But no, it is your journey. So I think it's important that the owner of the stuff, of the items, is the one who decides what to keep and what not to keep what sparks joy
We
at the
always
end.
work alongside our client, not for them, not instead of them.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. It's a very personal journey. It would be hard for the person who's coaching to understand if it brings you joy or not. So
Yeah.
you can ask the question, but you wouldn't feel it. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And I wonder, and maybe Hitomi can answer this, because she's the most senior person here. In your experience, do people stick with this? I mean, once you've done it with them, do they continue to practice this? Do you feel like, I'm sure not everybody, but for the most part, because they are so personally involved?
Most part, when people are finished this process, they will stick with it. They cannot go back.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It becomes a habit, you know.
Yeah,
But
and
this is the process to really tune into what this method is. It's you have to practice every day.
Yes, ma'am.
So your mindset, your habits, so you will correct them. And by the time you finish the whole tiling festival, you are already trained in the mind wise, is heart wise. So most of the people are. Unfortunately, if it's like they are just doing the clothes or just doing just the partially, it's tend to go back. But because they didn't go to whole,
The whole thing.
that's I
Yeah.
think. What do you think, ladies?
And tell me, and why did you start? What drew you to this method? You've been doing this for so long.
Well, I'm Japanese,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I took a course when the Marie wrote the book and step into US. Before that, I discovered her, so I went to Japan to take a class first, and they finished in the US. But so we shared kind of like this to respect of things. It's kind of like undertone of Japanese community, like that
Yes.
mindset is there. So of course I have a connection of that. And I tried different before KonMari method. I tried different method, and I think I was reaching the certain level of cleanness on the outside, but the drawers in the hidden area, drawers or behind the door, somewhere people that cannot be able to see. That was always something is like a stressed me out. And this is the method really bring me to beyond that. I can reach them. I can inventory them. I know exactly what they are in my house. And then I've been through, and that's why I joined the KonMari Method consulting.
So there's no junk drawer in the KonMari method, apparently.
It's like sometimes it's we are as a consultant. Sometimes it's time goes on. Okay, today is a perfect, absolutely fabulous, but month from now, 3 months from now, our life getting busy, and of course there is somewhere is becomes a little bit gray, so you have to go back. So it's not like once you do it, it's not you don't have to do it anymore. No, as I mentioned, like you have to practice. So you go back to the place and then bring it back to that fabulous place again.
Yes.
It's more of a maintaining after that because life continues. You know, you continue to receive gifts, you continue to shop or replacing things, but then you are more mindful about how you do that. As a matter of fact, Amelie has a few tips that she shared with us before how to maintain as well. Do
Yes,
you
we love
mind?
the tips.
Kind of
We
put
love
you
all the tips.
I'm a big proponent of the 1 in, 1 out rule. I try to apply that to most things in my home, but especially clothing. Like, for example, the new dress, I will be looking through my old dresses to get rid of one. And sometimes that actually prevents me from buying a new dress that I don't need because I'll think like, well, wait a minute. I have like these 3 dresses that I could wear on the same occasion. Do I really need that 4th one? No, I don't. So I'll keep the ones that I have. But then if I have one that I know it's worn, I know it doesn't look as good on me, doesn't feel as good as it used to, then I'll replace it. And so the total number of items that I own stays roughly the same. Obviously, there's some fluctuation, right? Because life happens.
Uh-huh.
And I try to teach that to my kids also when they receive their birthdays, the holidays, and even when they go just to a birthday party and they come back with all the favors, right?
Yes, yes.
Stuff comes in. So I teach every once in a while, we go through all their stuff and they will decide, okay, I don't need these items anymore. I want to make more room for this Lego set. And so I'm teaching them slowly how to curate, I guess would be a good word, curate their belongings.
Well, that was one of my questions. I was gonna ask, how do you handle birthdays and Christmases? And could you get things that you did not specifically pick, right?
Right.
That someone thought of you and bought you something. So it's very difficult. Like if it's something that doesn't bring you joy, like what do you do? But that's perfect. Like with the children, I allow them the opportunity to go through their things and figure out
Yeah.
what they want. And the one in, one out method, I do like that because I like have so many T-shirts and I don't need any more. We just kind of keep the same number.
And for gifts, really the purpose of a gift is to be received. After that, it's up to you, right? And it brought you joy in the moment that you had it because this person who loves you made you happy.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you have to hang on to that thing for the rest of your life. There will come a point when you no longer need it and you pass it on to someone else. You make room in your life for the things that you love and that you use.
I do have that one family member that will notice when you don't wear the item they got you, though.
I have that family member as well. Yeah, yeah. I mean, even her just saying like that doesn't mean you hang on to it for the rest of your life. My immediate voice was like, but it does. It does mean that.
I told my daughter, I have a young adult daughter, I told her, do not feel that because I gave this to you, you have to keep it. And she said to me, Mom, that's the best thing you ever told me in my entire life. So I freed her from the guilt of keeping things.
Yeah.
Just
I grew
because
up in a household. I grew up in a household where everything had its place, but my mom had places for everything. Like everything was filled with stuff. So even though it had its place, and we knew where it went, it was just a lot of things when she passed it on. And it was, and she was one person that would be, her feelings would be hurt if we didn't use the item or have the item or want the item she gave us. And so you as a daughter, you just kind of like, okay, mom, thanks. And it's very grateful that she thought to give us things, but like you said, it wasn't my style. It wasn't things that I would find joy in or that I didn't enjoy looking at. Like I'm not a big figurine person. I'm a very clean line. Like I don't like a lot of stuff. So, but yeah, the
Yep.
birthdays.
That goes back to listening to other people's voices.
Yes.
And so mom, I loved it. And so I gave it to somebody else to love just as much. So I passed on the love.
Yeah. I don't know that Ellie Edler would go for
I
that
don't know if
response. But it's worth a shot.
It is. It's worth the shot, and I think they understand. I mean, they're daughters as well. But it's the stuff when the kids would come home, and I'm thankfully my kids were not big on the party favors and stuff. But going as when they were little, and we went to a birthday party every weekend. I thought, and they would come home with goodie bags. I'm like, okay, and the money that people spent on them, I'm like, no, like you don't have to provide favors, like because they go from our the little baggie to the trash a lot of the times. So but I did feel guilty for doing that because I know people spent time, money, because parties right now for little kids, they're big to do. It's a lot of things, the balloons and the different things they make with the cricket machine and all the other things they make. It's great and it's pretty to look at, but it's not usable items in my household. So a lot of times it went straight to the trash. No one tell anybody, but it went straight
Everyone
to the
knows
trash.
now. Everyone knows.
That's a great segue into how do you do the KonMari method for kids? So
Yes.
So what we practice is anyone from 3-4 years old and up. But I mean, this is going to sound weird in this day and age, but it's just the consultant and the child in the room. Because if mom or dad are in the room and they raise that eyebrow, the child's going to go, oh, maybe I should keep this, and it doesn't spark joy for the child.
So they get to be part of the method as well, and it teaches them how to find joy in the items that they have in their home, their room and stuff.
Yes. And I
I
know
think that's really good because honestly, I am that mom where if I was in the room and they were like, we love this, I'd be like, but we don't need to keep it, like, so it's good to let them do that stuff.
yeah, and Ami and Amelie, their children practice it too. And I just love to hear their stories when they say, that my son, said, I'm gonna give it to somebody else to love, or, I just love that.
In my household, the boys love things, and my eldest son, he, after my dad passed, wanted all the shirts, all the hats, all like, can we keep 2? Can you pick your 2 favorite? Because there's not enough room in the house for all of grandpa stuff. So let's keep what you can use, or maybe we can turn one into a bear or a pillow or something. But you don't fit into his clothes, and you're not gonna wear them. So let's figure out what works. So we did sort of do the method. I had him pick because he wanted to keep everything, and I'm like, he was a 74-year-old man, and you're 12. Like, you're not gonna wear his clothes. Like, this is just not gonna happen. So we do have quite a few T-shirts still that he does wear. So he's proven me wrong on some of it.
Marie, I wanted to mention that you said that your mom had a place for everything. And that's actually, she was doing the partially KonMari method, because that's another thing. When you find a home for everything in your house, it's so easy to tidy every day because everything has a home. So you don't have to have the declutter, the clutter in your home of things that you don't know where they go, or you don't have a place for them. So that's
Yeah,
actually
she had a place for everything while we were kids, because we would have to put the things away. We just had a lot of things, and then as my siblings and I became adults and we moved out, those things never found its place again. They found just random places to put. So she didn't have enough hands to put things away. But she did. Growing up, she was very big about weekends, mornings. We were up cleaning. We did and it also set the mood for the week. We had our things, stuff put away, that kind of things. But we had a lot of stuff, and it was a lot of dusting, and it made me not like the, we called them monitos, but I don't know how to
Like tchotchkes.
yeah, like a whole bunch of little things. And I'm like, it took all day to clean and put back and make sure it was taken care of, and they're all glass and they're all very beautiful. It just for it lost its value, or what we liked, and the style changed. So it just became a clutter for a lot of us who took it. So
all the ceramic figurines and that
yes,
kind of
yes,
thing.
yes.
Yeah.
So when she passed, we kept one. My sisters and I all kept one thing, and the other things we did donate. So that was nice. But I felt a little guilty about it because she had spent so much money and time either making or buying stuff that we had. It wasn't something we kept.
Yeah, another way to look at it is like everything that you bring into your home, you're trading for something, whether it be your time or your energy to be cleaning it, the maintenance. And so, even something as simple as a toaster, and I'm not gonna say get rid of your toaster, but like with your toaster, you do have to clean it, make sure, the dust around it, put it back where it's supposed to be and things like that. So, uh, sometimes I think of items like the more I let go of, the more time I have. And that's interesting because my 10-year-old son actually he spoke at my last workshop just a little bit, and like his why was time. He gets more time when he's able to get rid of things. He's able to kind of buy that time to do the things that he loves.
I like
Yeah.
He,
We all
he
need more
buys
time.
himself more time to play.
more time to play. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
because
cleaning your room.
absolutely.
And also is that the less cleaning necessary because everything is have a home and very easy to clean, maintain.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We have managed to do that in my household for like our main area, like the kitchen and the dining room and our sitting areas. I just have to tackle garage and bedrooms. because that's
Mhm.
where I would say when we tend to host at my house for a lot of holidays or get-togethers for my family. So when we're done cleaning, things that we have junk drawers or we have a closet, like just stick it in the closet. We'll figure it out later. Well, 6 months have gone by. We have not opened that closet, so those things are still sitting there or hanging in there.
Yes, we understand. We
But
understand.
having a space for everything will make it a lot easier. Putting things back where they go.
Yes.
It's a lot easier.
And everybody can understand it. Everybody in a household, everybody knows, oh, this is such a thing. Oh, this is the box we're going to. So I think is that so we tell clients, you have to focus on you to do your tidying festival first, and then share them, help them a little bit, but don't push them, because this is really for you. You find about yourself.
Yes.
This process are. And interesting enough, family members will be curious
Mm.
to see what's your things are so organized and easy and clean and so there is
That's true. Yeah.
great influence.
Yeah. So you can do it for yourself and then spread it around a little bit,
Yes.
as long as you're not being too pushy about it. Right.
Well, I
Yeah.
think
And
kids,
respect
kids
other
follow by
people's
example.
items. Yes.
Yeah. No. We won't do other people's items. Well, this has been so interesting. I am so interested. It almost seems like a spiritual experience in organizing, and it sounds like it could change your life. So I feel like I hope that our listeners have learned at least a little bit about this,
Yeah.
and I hope that they call you ladies to change their lives.
Yeah,
So
that's why the
now-
book is called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
Marie Kondo's
wow.
book.
well,
Yeah.
I didn't know that part, but that
Yep.
makes total sense.
It
Yeah.
Changing, absolutely.
It changed our lives enough that it made us want to help other people change theirs. And that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
How amazing. I love it. Well, now is the part of the time that we would usually ask our guests to kind of share with our listeners how they could reach out to you gals to have you help them change their lives.
Yes. So my company name is Kinoko. Kinoko means in Japanese is mushroom, but actually coming from my last name. And kinoko.com, and people can reach out through my website. And I do presence of the Instagram. So which my Instagram is more focused on folding clinic, which is various items. I create a video for different underwears, t-shirts, dresses, gowns,
Yeah.
you name it. So that would be a great tool for people to visit and practice through the video.
What's
Thank-
your Instagram?
Hito _ Kinoshita.
Got it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So my website is amelieorganizes.com. And on Instagram, I'm Amelie Organizes. And from there, you can have access to my link tree with there's Facebook, there's my services, there's my blog. So you can find me from there.
Oh, I like a good blog.
Yeah.
So my website is my name, Ami Teodosio, AMITEODOSIO.com. And I'm also on Instagram, which is just same thing, Ami Teodosio. Facebook, Ami Teodosio, KonMari Consultant. And yeah, I love sharing decluttering tips, tricks, how to love your home. I think that each person is worthy of living in a home that they love. And so that is passion of mine, and you'll see that on my social media. Oh, but I am taking a break from social media. But by the time this airs, for Lent, by the time this airs, it'll be done. But Yeah, just wanted to say
Good for
we
you,
all,
Ami.
Yeah,
we
that
all
is
need
good.
I'm
seasons.
jealous.
And I know we all need seasons to just relax and reflect and stop the input, even when it comes to social media as well.
She puts on a mean workshop, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am Angie and I own CleanG Professional Cleaning and Services. So CleanG is the word clean and Angie kind of morphed together. So here's
Oh,
our
look at that.
here's our logo, and you can reach us at www.cleangie.com. And we have Instagram and Facebook as well. And our phone number is 210-354-5654.
So I'm Lupe Villareal. You can find my profile in the KonMari.com website under Hire a Consultant. And I también hablo español. So if anyone bilingual have someone who only speaks Spanish, I can help as well.
Love that.
Perfect. And we will put all of that information in the show notes of this podcast, so that way it makes it super easy to find you ladies. And I just want to thank you all for being on. I
It's so
learned
much
so
fun.
much about just this specific type of organizing and how, like we said, it seems like it could change your life. So I think it's really interesting. I'm so glad you're able to share today.
I went to go find my joy. So
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Let's go find it after this.
Thank you
And then,
so much.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I will also thank our listeners for tuning in to this week's episode of the Working Moms of San Antonio podcast, and we will catch you guys next week.
See you guys next week.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Working Moms of San Antonio podcast. We hope you loved today's chat and found a little inspiration to take with you into your week. If you have a podcast topic suggestion or a question you'd love for us to cover, definitely send us an email at hello@workingmomsofsanantonio.com. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, see you in the community.